a lot. It's a boxer who hasn't developed a jab and throws about 17 different styles from different angles, thinking he's going to be cute. And the reality of it is, it's a huge hole in their game. It's the same thing for quarterbacks. A quarterback's mechanics are equivalent to a boxer's jab. If it's not right and consistent over and over again, it's a huge, huge chink in their chain, so to speak.
I'll tell you what grinds my gears about Mariota is he should have a very nice fantasy floor. When you think about fantasy quarterbacks, having a dual threat is such an advantage because you get the points for rush yards, you get the points for rushing touchdowns on top of their passing stats. The problem is Mariota's been so banged up, he can't take advantage of his rushing ability. Therefore, you don't get that nice floor. And this is a precautionary or a cautionary tale for everyone hopping on the Lamar Jackson hype train. Is that if you take away the weapons that are your legs and you have not developed as a passer yet, I mean, look out because you're not setting yourself up for success in the real game or fantasy football.
That's true, but I will say this. Now, there's a limited amount, and I will say I haven't studied him extensively yet, and I will get into this more now that we have Game Pass, guys. This is what you can look forward to is more in depth. I am going to look at it, but the one thing I did notice, even looking kind of when I watched him in college, Jackson does seem to have a consistent. It's not. There's a it needs to be developed more. But I think Jackson's throwing mechanics are far more advanced even in this early stage of his career compared to Mariota. So I think, that's probably about as close a comp as you're going to get. I still think that I would take Jackson right now over Mariota just based on those facts. Because when I watch Jackson, I am seeing at least something close consistently. It might be a little off here. The arm might drop a little more here or there. But for the most part, 75% plus of the time, I see a consistent way that Jackson is throwing the ball even off platform. Again, I don't see that from Mariota. And I might be blind, but, I mean, I just don't see it. So I think Jackson has probably got – you have a better chance. If you only had those two guys to pick from, you're better off riding Jackson than Mariota, I guess. Short way.
Well, Dillon, I'm going to throw one more on your last chance U team, just for my own selection because I'm not a big fan of him. He was drafted with Mariota. I don't think he's matured mentally. I don't think his new coach is going to help. Jameis Winston is on the last chance U team, in my opinion. He was drafted right there with Mariota. Hasn't been able to cut it close in any means. And he's just had problems off the field left and right.
There's an example right there of absolute maddening mechanics because the difference between him and Mariota, I would say, is that he does it, and I believe he knows he shouldn't do it. It's like it's even worse. Like he knows and he can be consistent, but he just chooses to be kind of lazy at times, and therefore his mechanics become sloppy. That scares the hell out of me more than somebody that's just doing it because they don't know any better. I think his problems are mainly attitude and lack of work ethic. A great athlete, not saying he's a difficult kid to coach because I kind of fall under that similar light when I was younger as an athlete.
Did you steal crab legs from a grocery store?
Well, no, I'm saying not that you don't listen to coaching, but you're kind of always tuned out in your own little world where you hear them, but you ain't listening type of thing. And I think that's Winston's thing. I think he's coachable to a point, but he's hearing and not always listening.
Dillon, what do you think about Jameis? Dillon. Oh, he missed the whole thing. I don't know. I don't think he hung up on us. Maybe the call dropped. Call him back. Hold on, folks. He's probably trying to park in that First Niagara Bank again. I'll let you plead the fifth. It's okay.
So Dillon dropped or he hung up on us. I don't know what's going on. We're calling him right now. Did you hang up on us, Dillon?
I did, but it was only because literally everything you guys were saying, I could only pick out who it was by the tone of the voice. Otherwise, it was completely inaudible.
Oh, it was probably getting the fuzz voices. So,
Yep.
Jay and I neither liked Mariota. Basically, we didn't like his mechanics, going on to other comparisons like Mitch Trubisky and Matt Stafford, where they see tons of different throwing styles in one game from one QB. I added on one bonus last chance you guy, and I picked Jameis Winston, Mariota's counterpart in the draft. He hasn't seemed to mentally mature, and I don't think Arians is going to help with that. I just, like what Jay just said when you were off, is Jameis goes to his own tune. And when, like, say he's rolling out in the flat and he knows there's a dump-off route, he can go for 6 yards and then try and move the chains if it's a first down or go into the next down. He won't do it. He'll try and throw it in triple coverage when he knows he's not supposed to do it. And still, like, he ignores the stuff around him and the people around him, and he just does what he wants. And it's just, I don't think that'll ever change. I think that is something he had built in from Florida State.
You may be right as far as the actual team goes, but fantasy-wise, he still puts up productive numbers. I mean, he still hovers in the...
Still a free agent in my fantasy league.
Oh, I can't speak to your fantasy league, but I can tell you.
Well then.
Up quite often for later round.
Nah,
what do you guys think about the weapons
turnovers.
from Mariota, though? Do you guys like Derrick Henry? Do you like Corey Davis? Do you like Tony Walker?
Deion Lewis, yes. There's also a guy named Taywan Taylor that has been stepping up. There's some solid weapons around Mariota, and that makes me think, dude, what is it? Matt LaFleur, when he was the OC last year for the Titans, almost had the Titans making the playoffs with Blaine friggin' Gabbert. Yo, Gabbert. He almost won or got to the playoffs with Blaine Gabbert. He was one game out, and that was it. And I still couldn't believe it. Everyone tries to say, oh, the Titans offense. Well, what happens when you have Mariota, who turns over the ball constantly or gets injured constantly? And then you have to deal with Blaine Gabbert, who throws it directly to defenders when you're like, hey, dude, don't do that. And he'll go, okay, coach, and go out and toss it like a floater up in the air where it's quacking for 3 seconds. And it's just the fact of, I think Tennessee has weapons there. And they showed they have Johnny Smith as well, another tight end that came in when Walker was out. They had weapons. It's just the fact of taking advantage of them. And I think if Tannehill gets a shot, man, I think Mariota's done.
Ooh. Dave, what do you think? You like any of those? Corey Davis, Derrick Henry?
The Achilles thing with Henry concerns me. Big back, lots of pressure on that, but that team is going to run. I mean, they don't. You got to look at what it is. The only problem with taking Tennessee's running back is that, like, usually when you take a running back, you want a running back on a winning team, right? On a team that's usually ahead, because then they're going to put up more stats. They're going to keep feeding them the ball, especially come the second half. Problem with, like, Henry is both his quarterback and his backup quarterback are both probably going to be injured by week 8 or 9 going into the playoffs, and then that just means they can load the box up, and it doesn't bode well for running backs. Like, running backs on bad teams without a quarterback to threaten the defense tend to be terrible for your fantasy team. They don't do well. And so, therefore, as great of a player as I think he is, and as much as, like, you want to take him because you think that, you got to look at the team around him and the situations he's going to be put in, and it doesn't bode well as far as fantasy, especially in PPR, man, because he's really not a receiving threat as it is either.
Exactly. I mean, he's not like
Deion Lewis,
who may be on an awful offense this year, but he is at least going to have a nice, safe floor with all the catches he can have. So I think there's definitely concern around Henry. I loved Deion Lewis last year. It didn't pay off for me, but from what I hear, Henry's a little banged up right now. And you're right, Jay. It's a bad offense that's going to be coming from behind a lot of check down stuff, and maybe a guy like Adam Humphrey takes away from Deion Lewis. So I don't know if I'm touching either one of those Tennessee backs this year.
Actually, we just had a Tennessee on guest last week. Stephanie is, they call her the Titan Queen. She's kind of like a podcast beat reporter for Tennessee, and she said that there's been reports and rumors coming out that Derrick Henry may have a problem or two with his Achilles, that they've been keeping on the down low, but it's just the fact that it's starting to come out now. His leg is taped up so much on the lower part of his leg, and it's going straight towards his Achilles, that they're afraid it might be a problem with it.
Okay.
Well, so that might be a big factor.
That wraps up my last chance to use segment. Hope everyone enjoyed it. I know I did.
It was awesome.
I like that. That was good, man. You put in some work this week, man. Oof.
Except for hanging up on us.
Technical difficulties, but we're too strong for that sort of thing.
I know.
No, Dillon.
She said.
No, seriously, Dillon, you have no idea what the past week as far as technical difficulties has been going on.
Yeah, this is
know.
nothing.
That is like, that's not even, it's almost becoming the freaking joke of First and Goal podcast. Like, oh, hashtag technical problems.
We shouldn't feel bad because I listen to Fox Sports 1 every morning on the radio, and Clay Travis also experiences technical difficulties on the reg. So
on Fox Sports 1, really?
Yeah, there's
wow.
a problem where, Clay Travis outkicked the coverage. Apparently he can't field calls while he's talking to a caller. So they're still figuring that out on a professional Fox Sports radio show. So I don't feel
so. I guess we're ahead of them. Woo!
But I do have a question, real quick, about the Packers in preseason. How much of Deshaun Kaiser should I expect to see, and how much of his backup should I expect to see in the very first game?
You're going to see...
Okay, do you want to go first?
You're going to see a lot of Tim Boyle this preseason because...
Old Timmy Boyle?
I think Boyle can spin it accurately, unlike Kaiser. Kaiser's a shotgun with buckshot. He just firing, hoping to hit something.
It really is. That's how this training camp has gone with him.
Look, when I saw Boyle throw the ball last year in games and stuff,
we all wanted him as the second string.
I'm going, now that kid can spin the rock. I mean, I'm not saying he's some great, but we're looking for a backup quarterback, and you know what? People didn't.
But Rob Kelly,
Matt Flynn guy. I'm interested in him as a backup because again, Kaiser's got all those things you want to fall in love with, but you might as well be shooting a shotgun with buckshot at 100 yards away at the side of a barn door and hoping you hit something. Because
I got a reference to another quarterback you might be seeing. Manny Wilkins was an unrestricted free agent rookie that we picked up, and he's been impressing a lot lately. Him and Tim Boyle have been out throwing Kaiser in camp, and Wilkins is more of a hybrid throwing QB, but man, he's been doing well. He's been doing practice squad and third stringers, but he's been doing it. So you might see him in the preseason as well quite a bit with the attention he's been getting in training camp. Plus, Timmy Boyle, saying.
Dave, I want you to bring that back up when we get Ryan on, because that takes a little point that we can talk about.
But anyways, also, I want to bring up one more thing. Okay, never mind.
Okay. Well, real quick, super quick. Do the Packers have anyone on the roster who's kind of like an outside the box, like an Arena League or an XFL pickup, Canadian League maybe?
No.
No
one that comes to mind, right? Okay, just curious.
Nope.
No, I haven't seen any, but who knows?
See, what I wanted to bring up about Tim Boyle when you guys were talking about him is people thought the same things about Kurt Warner when he was with us, Matt Hasselbeck, Mark Brunell. All those people thought oh yeah, they can spin the ball, they can do it. But look what they went and did. I mean, there were franchise QBs with their teams where they had their longest tenure. And I mean, who knows? Timmy might go on and freaking do something special with another team. He's got the raw talent to do it. And I'm not saying, like you said, Jay, we're not saying